I kind of agree with what you said right there, but I want to focus in on Matthew Stafford really quickly because I don't think Matthew Stafford gets appreciated enough. You know, I've argued that this guy is the most underrated quarterback in all of football at the moment. When we look at guys like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, you know, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Carson Wentz, even Kyler Murray, those are some of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL when you combine their ability to make plays off schedule, you know, just their rocket arms, their accuracy. I think Stafford is actually in that category for most talented quarterbacks in all of football. He's one of the 7 to 8 most talented quarterbacks in football easily. I don't think people realize how good Stafford actually is. I can actually make an argument Stafford might be a top 10 quarterback at the moment. So, listen, man, I just want to kind of rattle off a couple statistics and just some things that I want to mention about Stafford, and then I'll kind of get your thoughts on how you feel about Stafford. And if you think he's the most underrated quarterback in football, because I think he is, you know, Matthew Stafford for his career has a better touchdown to interception ratio than Ben Roethlisberger and Cam Newton. Now, is he a better quarterback than those guys? No, he's not better than those guys. Ben won 2 Super Bowls and Cam Newton's been to a Super Bowl. So not quite on that level, but I've seen Matthew Stafford throw for 5,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns in 2011. This guy has 28 fourth quarter comebacks. That's 11th all time. And this guy also has 38 game-winning drives. That's 13th all time. And Matthew Stafford, I don't think you can solely judge Stafford on his win-loss record because it's a team game. And I'm not going to put Stafford in the category of, you know, elite because we see guys like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers carrying bad teams consistently throughout their entire career. And guys like Mahomes, Watson are talented enough to carry bad teams. So I'm not putting Stafford in that category. But just based on the way Stafford is perceived, I think people just consider him this guy that puts up numbers and just is a big-time loser. I disagree. I think if you put Stafford on a fairly decent roster, he can win you some playoff games. He's gotten to the playoffs with the Lions several times, and that's an accomplishment in itself, you know. And we look at the bad defenses that he's been given. We look at the lack of a run game, bad offensive lines. I mean, in September of 2018, Kerryon Johnson rushed for 100 yards in a game. That was the first 100-yard rusher the Lions had since 2013. That's nearly a half decade. Do you think Stafford is the most underrated quarterback in football? And what are your thoughts on Stafford?
Absolutely. So as a Lions fan, I love Stafford. When you look at Stafford's career, he was our number 1 pick back in 2009, right off of an 0-12 season, okay? Imagine being the guy who has to go to a team that just went 0-12 and be the quarterback, okay? Myles Garrett went to the Browns when they went 0-16, okay? He's a D lineman. Imagine being the quarterback and having that pressure. And so, in my opinion, the fact of the matter is, Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Fame talent who has been failed by his organization. Maybe not a Hall of Fame quarterback. Obviously not a Hall of Fame quarterback at the moment. But I think the talent speaks for itself. And the Detroit Lions have flat out failed Matthew Stafford. The guy has given everything for this organization time and time again. You look at plays early in his career. He hurt his shoulder in a game one time versus the Browns on the second to last play of the game. Really hurt his shoulder. And there was a timeout on the field. He runs off of the field. Now there's 1 second left on the clock, and we're on the 1 yard line. And like everyone is telling him to sit down, we'll put in the backup QB. He, on his own, runs back onto the field, even with doctors telling him to sit down, hikes the ball, and throws a game-winning touchdown with time expiring. I forget what year this was, but this was a long time ago. But everyone remembers the game against the Cowboys where he drove us down the field with 40 seconds left, and then after a Calvin Johnson catch down to the 1, Stafford's yelling, "Clock it, clock it, clock it," hikes the ball, and jumps over the line for the game-winning touchdown. I mean, these plays just go to show, like, he puts his everything out on the field. And he's just a natural-born competitor. And like you said earlier, I think Stafford really is one of the premier arm talents in the league. He's not a runner at all. He's strictly a pro-style QB. But his arm is just so good. And I think he has above-average pocket presence. Now, I want to address this. I think a lot of people probably rolled their eyes at me when I said that Matthew Stafford has Hall of Fame arm talent. And I want to ask these people, how many Lions games have you actually watched in your life? Like, how many times have you seen Matthew Stafford play? Okay, the numbers speak for themselves, but football isn't all about numbers. Most of it's film. So go back and watch the film. Go back and watch a game like the Lions and Chiefs game last year. Stafford took the lead at the end of the game, and we had a real shot to beat the Super Bowl champs. But the defense blew it, and Mahomes ran for a fourth down conversion. But look at the throws Stafford was making that game. The guy can just flat out sling it. I mean, he was making throws that if Mahomes was making, we would be getting ESPN and like Bleacher Report notifications about it. He made a sidearm touchdown throw to the back of the end zone that zipped in between three defenders, and he just makes throws like this all the time. So my point is, before you judge someone on like the name or the team they're on, just go back and watch how they play. Like you said in your video, before Stafford got hurt last year, he was putting up MVP numbers. I mean, he was on track for 5,000 yards and almost 40 touchdowns. And this is while he's 31 years of age. It certainly helps that throughout his career, he's had wide receivers like Calvin Johnson. We talked about him a little earlier, and Golden Tate, Marvin Jones Jr., who's had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and then Kenny Galladay now, who's really emerging as a star receiver. But besides guys like that, the Lions have never put anyone around Stafford. I mean, the stat you said, it took us over 5 years to just get one game with a 100-yard rusher. That's pitiful. The 49ers have a guy running for over 100 yards every week to help Jimmy Garoppolo. It took 5 years for us to get one of those guys. That's terrible. And to go to show how good Stafford is, you look at guys like Quandre Diggs and Darius Slay, who got traded out of Detroit, and they have bad blood with the Lions. They have made it known they do not like the Lions organization. They don't like our coaches. But they are still tweeting about how great Matthew Stafford is. And that just goes to show like how much respect he has with his peers and how people like to play with him. And finally, I want to say this. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but QB wins are not a stat. Okay? They're just not. Obviously, you want your quarterback to win football games. Like, that's common knowledge, okay? You want a winner. But just because a quarterback takes his team to go 13-3, like Jimmy G did last year, does not make him a top 10 quarterback or even a top 15 quarterback in the league, okay? A lot of the NFL is coaching and scheme, okay? If you have a great coach and a great scheme around you and a great defense, you will be a successful quarterback. No matter, even if you're an average quarterback, if you have a great defense and great coaches, you can win some ball games. Last year, the Bills went 10-6, okay? Josh Allen is not that good, okay? I'll rephrase that. He's a good quarterback, okay? But he's more of a runner right now than a thrower, okay? Look at all his overthrows last year. I mean, this guy just cannot hit his receivers downfield. He just can't do it, okay? He has all the arm strength in the world, but his accuracy is just not there yet. Now, he has a lot of potential, okay? But he just can't throw right now, okay? If you put Matthew Stafford on the 49ers last year, they are winning that Super Bowl. Now, you could say that about a lot of QBs, okay? We all saw the throw Jimmy G made where he missed Emmanuel Sanders by 10 yards on what would have been a game-winning touchdown, okay? But I just want you guys to think about this. If you put Stafford on even like a decent organization, okay, he would by far have playoff wins, okay? It sucks that he doesn't, but that's just because the Lions have failed him so bad. And it's between the Lions and the Browns, who are the two worst organizations in all of football. I'd honestly probably give it to the Lions just because, like, you know, the Browns have something. The Lions were the first team to ever go 0-16. So that's kind of my point. In conclusion, yes, Stafford is the most underrated, and just you have to watch him play before you can judge him, is all I'm saying.
I'm actually going to just segue to the next, topic because you pretty much hit everything on point. I think that Stafford, the fact that Josh Allen and Ryan Tannehill made the NFL top 100 list and Stafford didn't is kind of mind-boggling to me. That's bad, yes. And like you said, Stafford was playing like an MVP candidate, from his individual, season last year, before he got hurt. And again, you need a great organization. Tom Brady goes to a great organization. Russell Wilson goes to a great organization. Aaron Rodgers, et cetera, et cetera. Usually, if you're a quarterback, especially Matthew Stafford, because Matthew Stafford went number 1 overall. He's not a bad quarterback. You can't tell me that you've seen some number 1 overall picks, flat out just fail. I get that. But for the most part, if you're going in the first round at quarterback, you're talented enough to make it in the league and win games. Usually, these quarterbacks that fail, you look at the coaching staff. Sometimes they're not supported. You look at the roster they've been dealt with. It's just a mess sometimes. So yeah, I totally agree with you, and I do think Matthew Stafford is definitely underappreciated. I know that he kind of got injured a little bit, this year. He for the first time missed a significant amount of games, but for the most part, Matthew Stafford's been an Iron Man. This guy has played through injuries. He's been tough. He's been a great leader, and Detroit Lions fans should appreciate Matthew Stafford much more than they do, in my opinion. I think Stafford's the most underrated quarterback in football, and I will stand by that. No one's going to change my mind. And by the way, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, so I have every right to try to bash teams in my division. But no, I recognize that Stafford is the real deal. Not saying that he's the greatest quarterback in the world. He does have some flaws, but Stafford is a well above average quarterback that definitely can win you games, and he's been kind of wasted by the Lions organization up to this point in his career. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.